All right, so today is the last day before we move on to our holiday Christmas vacation, and I won't see you until the year 2021. So I'm going to take today to finish our last 3 pages of our holiday read aloud. The title of this chapter is Delivering the Presents. Santa Claus is famous for coming down the chimney, but don't worry if your home doesn't have one. He can transform himself into a shower of fairy dust and waft in under a door, or even through a keyhole if necessary. After all, Santa is quite stout, so even sliding down the chimney requires a little bit of magic and a lot of fairy dust. Santa has a way with animals, so dogs won't bark at him and cats won't hiss. He also is an expert on Christmas customs. He knows that in some countries, children hang up stockings for him to stuff with gifts, while in others, they instead put out shoes. One of the traditions Santa likes best is when people leave cookies and a glass of milk out for him. Cookies he doesn't eat himself are put in a special jar on his sleigh and taken home for the elves' Christmas party. The reindeer like it too when apples and carrots are left out for them. Santa prefers to visit when children while they are sound asleep. That way, he doesn't have to stop for a chat or two to tell a story, which would slow him down too much. You can't fool Santa. He knows when you're sleeping and when you're awake. And if you do ever see him, it's because he's decided that you should. This little magnifying glass is titled Traces of Santa. No matter how early you wake up on Christmas morning, you can be sure of one thing. Santa Claus will have come and gone. And because you're so excited about opening your presents, you'll probably forget to look for traces he may have left behind, a light sprinkle of fairy dust on the curtains, or a boot print on the carpet. And by the time you've torn the wrapping paper from your gifts, all the evidence of Santa will have been lost forever. I think that's a hint, boys and girls, that on Christmas morning you should be looking for clues like fairy dust on the curtains or boot prints in your carpet or on your wooden floors. This page is titled The Sightings of Santa. Sightings of Santa. Some people would have you believe that no one's ever seen Santa Claus. Nothing could be further from the truth. Santa has been seen countless times throughout the years. How else would we know what he looks like? He has been spotted, of course, on Christmas Eve, but also at times when those seeing him or even speaking with him might not even realize who he was. Santa doesn't just travel the world at Christmas. He likes to take trips at other times of the year as well, watching people and listening to them talk, learning about new trends and finding out what's going on outside his Arctic home. He never wears his red suit on those trips, but there's no disguising his long white beard or the twinkle in his eye, so watch out for him walking down your streets. You can also see Santa in department stores at Christmas time. He has many helpers who stand in for him around the world, but he also likes to put in an appearance as often as you can. So, the next time you see Santa at a store or in a mall, you just won't know whether you're talking to the real Santa or maybe it's one of his helpers. Be thinking about that. Santa Claus in Outer Space. On December 21st, 1968, 3 NASA astronauts in Apollo 8, which is the name of a spaceship, boys and girls, made history when they blasted off from Earth's surface to become the first men to orbit, or fly around, the moon. They spent 20 hours circling the moon, and each time they passed behind the moon, they lost radio contact with Earth, so no one knew if they were still okay. And when the spacecraft appeared from behind the moon for the last time on Christmas Day, the astronauts James Lovell announced, "Please be informed that there is a Santa Claus." To this day, no one can be sure if he was just joking or if he really did spot Santa on the far side of the moon. All right, boys and girls, last page, and it's an exciting one. It is Christmas Day at the North Pole. Look at all this food. It looks like a huge feast full of lots of sweets. All the elves are gathered together. This is what happens at Christmas Day on the North Pole. As Santa zigzags across the world, delivering presents on Christmas Eve, the elves begin to gather in the Great Hall. There's still lots of things to do after they've waved Santa goodbye on his journey. The stables must be prepared for the return of the sleigh team. The vegetable gardens must be tended. The workshop must be cleared. The mailroom must be cleared. But as the minutes tick by on Christmas Eve, the elves are eager to follow Santa's progress on the positioning globe in the Great Hall. They spend all year working toward this moment, and as tension mounts, barely a word is spoken, which is quite a remarkable feat for those chatterboxes. As dawn breaks, there is huge excitement among the elves as they watch the glowing dot of red light on the globe approach the North Pole, heralding Santa's return. Then, when they hear the sound of the jingle bells outside the room, erupts with cheers and laughter, and everyone rushes outside to welcome Santa home. Once he's shaken the snow off his boots, Santa makes a speech to thank everyone for all their hard work. Then the party begins. A mouth-watering feast is laid out on long tables in the Great Hall with chocolate chip cookies, Christmas cake, and all kinds of puddings and pies, as well as ginger beer, pumpkin juice, and carrot cordial. The elves take turns telling stories about all the things that have happened throughout the year, and they laugh, sing, and dance so hard it makes their heads spin. And the next day, everyone returns to work to start preparing for Christmas all over again. All right, boys and girls, I really hope that you enjoyed our holiday read aloud. It is one of my favorite stories to share. And I hope that you all have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I will see you all in the year 2021. Bye, guys.